So, good evening, myself Rahul Prasad, and today we are starting the ancient history episode. Many students find that history is boring, and especially the ancient history part. So, we'll try to do in little interesting way, and we'll do it in a small videos that will help us to understand and memorize the fact in nicely. First of all, we will do a timeline work like a frame of the ancient history that will help us to learn better in the coming videos. Starting from today, history can be divided into three parts, that is prehistory, protohistory and history. Now, what are the difference between this prehistory, protohistory and history? So, whatever we have in history all have come from the mainly the written material which we have, the archaeological survey, the evidences which we have found from the past. On the basis of that, we have divided our history into three major blocks, that is prehistory. First let's talk about the prehistory. Prehistory is the period of history that we have at from where we don't have any written material, we don't have any written evidences. Whatever we have the history that are interpreted on the basis of the stone tools that was used by the people at that time and the painting thing which we have got from archaeological survey. On the basis of that, we have interpreted the history. That particular episode of the history is known as prehistory, and then after prehistory other is protohistory. In this history, what is the special thing is that we have written material, we have the evidences of written material, but the problem is that we don't able to decipher it, we are not able to read it, that language, understand that. So, this part of the history is known as protohistory and the latter is history. In this episode, every material is written and evidences are there and we are able to read it and decipher it. So, in this way history can be divided into three parts. Let us talk about the prehistory. Prehistory can be considered from the 5 lakh BC to 6 lakh BC, and the prehistory majorly divided into three major parts, that is Paleolithic phase, Mesolithic phase and Neolithic phase. Paleolithic phase is further divided into three parts, that is lower Paleolithic, middle Paleolithic and upper Paleolithic. We will do it in a broad way. So, this is the timeline. Next is protohistory. Protohistory, the history that we have written evidences is there, but we are not able to decipher it. For example, the Indus Valley civilization, Paleolithic culture, this all comes on the protohistory. After that protohistory, we will go through the Aryan entry, Aryan invasion in India. For example, the Aryan came from northwestern side of our country, of our Indian subcontinent. They came from majorly from Middle East, they come from Iran, Iraq and all this country. So, this Aryan, after the Aryan invasion, the history comes out in a two phase, that is early Vedic period and later Vedic period. What is the distinction between the early Vedic and later Vedic is the discovery of iron. That was in 1000 BC. Discovery of iron had played a very important role in our history. We will deal with it in our coming videos. After that Aryan invasion, we will see in our history that rise of 16 Mahajanpada like Magad Mahajanpada, Avanti. There are many Mahajanpadas in the history, they majorly 16 Mahajanpada. We will deal everything in details about that. And for example, Magad Mahajanpada, in Magad Mahajanpada there are Haryanka dynasty, Shishupal dynasty, Nanda dynasty and Maurya dynasty. Will do. So, this way after that, after the end of Maurya dynasty, there was no any major dynasty in the Indian subcontinent as compared to the Maurya dynasty, because Maurya dynasty was a very strong, and after Maurya dynasty there was no any major dynasty. So, after that history we have named it as a post Maurya period. And we will see in post Maurya period there are two type of ruler. One one side we'll study the ruler which came from outside, like Indo-Greek came, Sakas came, Parthians came, and Kushanas came. And on the second side we'll deal about the indigenous ruler that were indigenous, that were there in the Indian subcontinent, that is Sunga, Kanva, and Satavahanas. After that, Gupta period will come, that is considered as the golden period of our history. After that, we will go in South Indian history. We will study about Sangam age, Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas. Cholas further in Pallavas and Chalukyas. After that, these are the frame and timeline of our ancient history. Today we are starting from prehistory. So, whatever we have in our prehistory time, everything we have taken from the on the basis of two evidences, that is the tools which we have found, the stone tools, and the painting which we have, particularly painting of Bhimbetka and the cave painting. The early human history can be traced with the help of stone tools which were used by them, and also the painting which they have created inside the caves of wall where they lived. On the basis of tools and the painting, we have discovered this history, that is prehistory. So, further prehistory is divided into three major parts: Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and Neolithic. Let's talk about Paleolithic. Paleolithic is further divided into three parts: Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic, and Upper Paleolithic. So, what are the criteria on which they have divided? The criteria on which they have divided are the tools, the quality of tools, and the type of painting that were different at the different period of time. Let's talk about the Lower Paleolithic phase. What was the special feature of Lower Paleolithic phase? In this Lower Paleolithic phase, the core tools, stone tools, were used for killing animals and for hunting. That the stone tools were irregular in shape and it was heavy. For example, chopper, hand axe, and cleaver. They used heavy stone tools because that time they were not expert in making the tools. After that, Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic will come, that is from 100 BCE to 50 BC. In this, the stone tools were rectangular in shape and it was better than that earlier one. It was better than that earlier one, that is better than the Lower Paleolithic age. In this period, the core stone was used for creating flags. They are more effective than the Lower Paleolithic period. Most of the tools were rectangular in shape. The name of characteristics tools are scraper, borrowed, and blades. With the help, you can see this picture how the tools were made. With the help of two tools or wooden sticks, they were made. After that, Middle Paleolithic, Upper Paleolithic will come, and in this phase we will find that the tools are better than the earlier two phase. In this phase, pointed tools were created which were basically triangular in shape. Instances of bone made tools also found from this period. We have seen that the bones tools were also found in this period, especially the bow and arrow. All these tools were triangular in shape. What will help this triangular shape? It will more dangerous for the killing of animal, and they can be projectile, they can be used, they can be launched on the animals from little far away also, which will help the hunter to get their food done. So, on the basis of this, there are some important sites of Paleolithic phase from where we have got this stone tools. For example, in Bhimbetka, that is present in MP, Madhya Pradesh. Belen Valley is there in UP and MP part. Shohan Valley is there in Pakistan, Kurnool in Andhra, and Brahmagiri Hill in Karnataka. From these sites, we have found the evidences of Paleolithic tools. Now let's talk about the painting. What were the special feature of the Paleolithic painting? They were mainly Paleolithic people created painting on the wall of cave. Basically, they scrapped the wall of the cave to create images on them. It was filled with color. What they do? They scrap the wall. For example, they want to make a flower or any people like this. So they first scrap the wall and then they fill painting in that. That type of painting is basically called petrograph painting. You can see this painting technique in Taj Mahal also, in the gate of Taj Mahal. The color which were used at the time were mainly yellow, green, red and brown. They were naturally obtained from the minerals, and this particular type of painting is known as petrograph painting. The theme of the painting was hunting, gathering, fighting scenes, animals, riding, etc. This type of painting we have found from the Bhimbetka site from Madhya Pradesh. The theme of the painting is hunting the animals, which is shown in the picture. Like in this picture you can see hunting of animals, and gathering of food, fighting scene, animals riding, this type of thing which are present in the painting. Bhimbetka is the most important site regarding the Paleolithic painting for the first time. This painting was discovered by V.S. Varankal. After that Paleolithic painting, we have done with the Paleolithic phase. Now let's talk about the Mesolithic phase. What was the special characteristics of this Mesolithic phase? It is also known as transition phase, because at this time the earth was becoming little warmer, and in this phase this phase is also considered as microlithic, because in this phase the tools which were used by the human being were very small and sharp. So that's why this phase is also called as microlithic. The characteristic tool of this period was microlith, which was small in shape, small and sharp. It's not only facilitated in effective killing of animals but also in creating Mesolithic painting. These tools were not only used for the killing of animals but also used for the making of paintings, scrapping the walls on which painting was made. The tools were sharp and small, as you can see in this picture. The shape of the tools was in trapezium shape or in lunate shape. Lunate shape is lunate word has come from the lunar, that is moon. So it is this type of shape of the tools, like this you can see in this picture. So in this period we have seen the evidences of bow and arrow also. This was the time when we have seen first time the domestication of animals, that we have found the evidences from Amargarh in MP and Bogra in Rajasthan in Mesolithic phase, which have started from 10,000 BC to 6,000 BC. What are the special characteristics feature of this Mesolithic painting? These painting were also the petroglyph, and these were more finer than the Paleolithic painting. They were also using the yellow color, brown color and red color, but the red color was the most dominant color, because this maximum painting of this phase have found to be red, and this red was different from earlier one because the animal's blood have used in a very good quantity. And they use, why they use animals blood, you can think why they use animals blood, because the animals blood, they must have found that animals blood is uh, creating the longevity of painting, and it is easily available because they used to hunt the animals, and due to that it was easily available in abundance. So they use these type of colors for their painting. Now what are the theme, how this theme are different from earlier thing. So in this Mesolithic painting, what we'll see, that we'll see that painting are there, and we have found that they are little different and they are little advanced from that. We have also found the painting of hunting, gathering and fighting of the animals, which were also there in the Paleolithic period. But the new type of painting emerged in this phrase, which were, so they have, the painting shows the group dance activity, sexual union, household activity and worship of phallus and yoni. Group dance and household activity and celebration activity also. We have seen the painting of celebration also. This both show what show? They show that community sense and coordination sense started. Community concept started. This group dance, and because the people will come together, they will celebrate, they will dance together. So these painting shows that community concept emerged at that period of time in Mesolithic, and they have the painting of sexual union have also shown, and the household activity have also shown in the painting, in which the women were maximum women were shown to engage in the household activity. That we can interpret that division of labor concept started. That is, for example, the women will do the household activities, the men will do the fighting and the hunting activity. So division of labor also started, we can interpret from this activity. Division of labor also started. And the worship of phallus and yoni. Phallus is the male organ part and yoni is the female sex organ part. So they worship mainly this part, and that can be also interpreted from the painting which they have. After Mesolithic painting, after Mesolithic painting as well as Mesolithic phase, we will go in the new phase, that is Neolithic phase. So what are the special features and characteristic feature of the Neolithic phase? In this phase, which started from 6000 BC and end in 3000 BC, the tools which were used in this period was polished, highly polished. As you can see, the tools of this period was polished, and they were more sharp, more small. In this period, tools were highly polished, which increased the effectiveness. The first evidence of agriculture is also found in this period, that is Mehergarh, that is present in Balochistan and Balochistan districts of Balochistan province of Pakistan. First time in that way, the first time agriculture were done in the Syria. You must be knowing the Syria. Syria was the place where first time activity of agriculture and all the major activities started in Syria only. You can see in history, when we will go in that Islam invasion, then we will learn that how the fight were done for the Syria. So let's go back to the Neolithic phase only. So what we have seen that tools were highly polished and small, which were sharp and more effective. What we'll see in this phase, that community empowerment resident started emerging. The community got consolidated in this period, and people started to live at one particular place. Earlier what they used to do, they used to live in one particular place. After that they used to move to other place. Now in this period, in Neolithic phase, we have seen the evidences of permanent settlement, permanent place. People started living permanently at particular place. They created wheels and wheel made pottery. The advancement came in this pottery making also. They started making the pottery made up of wheels. They started making the pottery made up of wheels, and we have also seen the evidences of copper. So Neolithic people also became aware of the copper and its uses, and they, in this period, the use of fire, they did not start the use of fire, because use of fire was prevailing from since very beginning. But from Neolithic phase, what happened, they started the controlling fire. They started how to control the fire and use it in a proper way. So they mastered the control use of fire. So what we have seen, we can recap. We have seen the, first of all, we have seen the time frame of ancient history, which we are going to do in our coming videos, and that starting from the prehistory, we have seen the Paleolithic phase, and Paleolithic phase is further divided into three parts, that is lower Paleolithic, middle Paleolithic and upper Paleolithic, on the basis of tools which we have found and the painting which we have found from that. After that, we have seen the Mesolithic phase, and after Mesolithic we have seen the Neolithic phase. So these were the things which were not very important, but it were less important as compared to the other part of the ancient history. So what will we have seen that in Neolithic phase, what we will next, we will come with the Indus Valley civilization. So what are the link between this Neolithic and Indus Valley civilization? We have seen that permanent settlement started in the Neolithic phase. Neolithic phase started the concept of, through this chart we can understand the link between the Neolithic and Indus Valley civilization. So in this Neolithic phase, the community concept started and agriculture started, permanent settlement started. So they will do the agriculture practice will be done, and after agriculture, surplus concept came. And that was the concept from where the business concept started. The economy started from the surplus. If anyone can ask from where the economy started, the surplus concept started the root of economy. Surplus of agriculture will start, then the people will have a leisure time. This surplus will lead to the trade, and for trade you need a trading center where people will come from different places and they will do the trade. So trading center emerged. What happened in the training center, when the trading center will emerge, so it will not like every day the people will bring their daily use amenities and their produce, and every day they will take back to their home. So for that they wanted to construct a storehouses. So storehouse concept will come. After this storehouse, there will be other daily amenities, daily essential activities will be there. Houses will also made near this, and in this way the trade center will become urban center, and urban center will lead to the emergence civilization. From there, Neolithic to there. These are the link between the Indus Valley civilization. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in next video. For that, till that, thank you and all the best.